Family members of some abducted children on Thursday gathered at Kuriga, Kaduna during a visit by Governor Uba Sani after gunmen kidnapped more than 200 pupils. The gunmen reportedly kidnapped 280 pupils during a raid on a school in one of the country's largest mass abductions. A local government official in Kaduna State confirmed the kidnapping attack on Kuriga School on Thursday, but gave no figures, saying they were still working out how many children had been abducted. A local resident said at least one person was shot dead during the attack. Thursday's kidnappings also comes almost 10 years after Boko Haram triggered international outcry by kidnapping more than 250 schoolgirls in Chibok. In the meantime, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has assured that no child will be left behind. He said he has notified President Bola Tinubu and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, about the incident before traveling to the scene of the attack. Amnesty International has also condemned the abductions in Kaduna State.
That one of the most important, and we have also sat down with the parents of those children that have been kidnapped. Even we have sent a strong message to the mothers, and we made it clear to them that one of the most important objectives of the government is to ensure that we protect the lives and properties of our citizens, and we ensure that by the grace of God, every child return home by the grace of God. We are working with the security agencies. Just an hour ago, I discussed with the National Security Advisor. He has assured me they are also working, and I've also spoke with the GOC Women Mechanized Division. He has also assured me they are also trying. Here we are with the Commissioner of Police and the Director of SSS, and all of them are working closely with the Continental government under my leadership. No time.
The Nigerian government has inaugurated a high-level committee to spearhead the implementation of the Oronsanya report, which recommended the streamlining of ministries, departments, and agencies to cut the cost of governance. The inauguration of the implementation committee followed the announcement by the President Bola Tinubu-led government on February 28th that part of the recommendations of the 12-year-old Oronsanya report would be implemented. The committee comprises top government officials, including the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, and the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Esan. The Oronsanya report is a comprehensive document that proposes sweeping changes to the structure of the government. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu was pledged to ensure that there will be more funding for science and development in the country. And this was at the State House in Abuja as President Tinubu was made the Grand Patron of Science at an investiture ceremony organized by the Nigerian Academy of Science.
Attention to science and development is a commitment that I will continue to support directly and through various government policies and programs. Through our Ministry of Science and Technology, health, education, and related ministries will be mobilized and support and funding for science and development. I am fully committed, and I work assiduously.
Nigeria's lower legislative chamber has called upon the Federal Inland Revenue Service to take action against ministries, departments, agencies, oil companies, and individuals who have outstanding tax obligations. The directive followed the adoption of a motion by Esosa Iyawe, representing Oredo Federal Constituency of Edo State. In his motion, Iyawe pointed out that the audit report from 2015 to 2019 showed that the government agencies owed hundreds of billions in taxes to the FIRS. He adds that over 5,000 companies and MDAs of the federal government were reported to owing a staggering 5.2 trillion naira in withholding taxes. However, the House of Representatives urged the FIRS to initiate a robust tax recovery drive and tasked the Committees on Public Accounts and Finance to investigate non-compliance with tax remittance. A forensic analyst and expert on handwriting and analysis has confirmed during the resumed trial of the embattled former governor of Nigeria's central bank, Godwin Emefiele, that the two signatures used to obtain about $6.2 million allegedly paid to the foreign election observers after 2023 general elections were forged. And this was as Emefiele appeared at the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama, Abuja. Marvelous Obomano has details.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is prosecuting Emefiele on an amended 20 counts charge, bordering on forgery, criminal conspiracy, conferring undue advantage, and breach of trust, amongst others. The EFCC specifically accused Emefiele of impersonating the signatures of the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation to illegally obtain a sum of $6.2 million from the CBN. In the conflicting documents, dated 26 January 2023, Emefiele was alleged to have forged a letter with a fake signature titled Presidential Directive on Foreign Election Observer Missions and directed a payment request of the said amount of money. A deputy director in charge of branch operations at the CBN, who had initially testified in court, said he reviewed the payment request and gave approval for disbursement. At the continuation of the trial, the EFCC called another witness to analyze the documents. The witness, who was brought to court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, is a forensic analyst and an expert in analyzing handwritings. He has confirmed that the signatures used in obtaining the sum of $6.2 million were forged. While making a comparative analysis of both documents, the witness said the original signatures of former President Muhammadu Buhari and his secretary to the government, Boss Mustafa, were inconsistent and hence a fake. After listening to the witness statement, the counsel to the EFCC sought the permission of the trial judge to call their witness at an adjourned date, which Justice Hamza Muazu granted, adjourning the trial to March the 11th. In Abuja, Marvelous Obomano for News Central.
And joining me to unpack this news is a partner for Tees and Lost, Okiki Adeniran. Good afternoon, glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon, thank you for having me.
All right, how significant is the confirmation of forgery by the forensic expert in this case against Godwin Emefiele?
Yes, it's very, very significant. And I'm saying this because now there's a way to go now. The forensic expert has mentioned that, yes, the signature was actually forged. Now, the courts can partly rely on it, not fully, because the courts at least will still hear the other side. So it's very significant. It's something to work with, and we hope that going forward, some other things will be unfolded.
But then on what grounds can the defense argue against the forensic expert's findings?
Yes, there's so many grounds the defense can actually argue. Number one, the defense can decide to call their own forensic experts to also look into the document and also confirm if the document was actually forged or the signature was actually forged. The defense can, as a matter of fact, right now what they need to do is to ensure that they defend it in such a way that they can establish that the signature wasn't forged if they can.
Well, do you think the confirmation of forgery, could lead to additional charges against Emefiele or even other individuals implicated in this case?
Sure, it can. Now, the issue we have at hand now is that we are this issue of forgery, as been said, it came up, and what is required of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is also to look into it and ensure that the other people who were involved in this are also brought to book and also investigated. So the EFCC need to look into this and ensure that as the matter, as the trial goes on, other things are looked into, probably some other people that helped, or probably some other people that the documents passed through them, are called as a witness or as an accused.
Okay, let's look at setting precedents. How do you think the admission of forensic report and also other exhibits as evidence impact the proceedings of the trial moving forward?
Now, the admission of this evidence, it will give the courts an ability to at least pay more attention to what has been said by the forensic expert. An expert in this case has said that the signature was forged. Now, what the court will do is not probably placing total reliance on it yet, but the court has to listen to the other party to be able to judge. Now, the admission of this particular document stating the report stating that the signature was forged will help the court in determining whether or not yes, it was forged, or whether former CBN governor should be, punished for forgery.
Well, thank you so much for your expertise on the news. We'll keep in touch with you for more on this developing story. Thank you so much, Okiki Adeniran. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying tuned. Women in Nigeria are demanding equal access to regional trade and financial support for their enterprises to be tapped from the investment potential in the African Continental Free Trade Area. They made this call at the entrepreneurship seminar organized by ECOWAS for Rural Women in celebration of International Women's Day with a focus on gender inclusion. News Centre's Adebola has details.
Since the launch of trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area in January 2021, the expectations are high as relates to the expanded business prospect, especially for women-led businesses. It is expected to unlock the potential for African women to grow their businesses from micro to macro enterprises, tapping from the billion-dollar investment opportunities within the African sub-region. In celebration of the International Women's Day, the ECOWAS Federation of Business Women and Entrepreneurs is organizing training for women in the rural communities who dominate the informal sector in Nigeria.
We are patronizing local content in the Free Trade African zone that is coming up. So we are trying to make our women produce products from our countries. So we are training them from the beginning to packaging so that their goods will be ready to export within the African region. So that's where we are going from local government to local government to meet those women that has our local content, to help them train to improve their products, up to the extent of packaging it, getting NAFDAC, certifying it so that it can be able to trade within the African region so it can meet the standard.
Our governments and political leaders should get more committed, particularly in the barriers on the roads that make trade difficult. Mainly they are women. Most of them are not very educated. We have to assist them. We have to assist them to get financial support. We have to assist them to get marketing.
The chairperson of the local government reviews how this seminar will impact positively, ensuring inclusiveness of women in the immediate community amidst the limited opportunities for the female gender in the country.
Coming into politics with my husband, I have seen that for the women to be heard in the society, you need to be in front of things. We need to talk the talk and walk the walk.
For decades, African women have been trapped in poverty cycles due to several underlying factors, which include unequal access to education, harmful cultural practices, and inequitable labor-saving technologies, among others. The desire to unlock investment opportunities within the African sub-region has compelled the women folk to also become active participants in regional trade in the continent. In Lagos, for News Central, Adebola.
And to unpack these, I'm joined live on the news by Morenike Eseko, registered learning disabilities nurse, mental health specialist, and also Joy Favor, director, Girl, Child and Women Project, Not Too Young to Lead initiative. Ladies, thank you for joining me on the news. All right.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, I'll start off with Morenike. I mean, how significant is the International Women's Day to you?
For me, it really is significant because for a very long time in this part of the world, especially Nigeria, women have had to work twice as hard, as their male counterpart due to things like religious barriers, cultural differences, gender inequality as well is something that has, contributed to these issues that we have. Sometimes you want to attain a position, but the fact that they say that you're a woman directly or indirectly puts you in that, barrier state, and it causes a barrier for you to access such support.
Let me get the perspective of Joy Favor on the most effective ways to counteract the stereotypes of feminism.
Actually, when it comes to feminism, I believe in inclusion, and this inclusion is we have our own share as the female folks in the society, being involved in processes, being involved in governance, being involved in the civic space. You understand? Because one thing for me, feminist stuff is not really my thing that I believe in, because we're there with the male counterpart and we're not trying to throw the men away. We're trying to tell them that we're women, we have our pride of place in society, nation building. Our pride of place is not in the kitchen, it's not in the other room, but our pride of place is in nation building. As we have the strength to build our homes and build our families, we still have the strength to put our quota into nation building.
Morenike, what would you say are the challenges when it comes to women inclusion in our society?
Religion, I would say, is a big one. We've got social, cultural differences as well, gender inequalities, which all together, impacts on the woman's mental health, because you don't feel empowered, then you feel, it affects your self-esteem, because you'll be thinking, what is he doing that I cannot do? Just like Joy just said, if we can build a family, we can, impact positively in our marriages, on our kids. Why can't we be giving the same, why can't people believe in us and empower us in the corporate world, in politics? Despite having the much women that are still in the forefront of these industries, we still don't have enough to equate the amount of women that should be there.
All right, let me get back to Joy. I know, Joy, you talked about the need to collaborate with the male folk and not to see them as competition. That's the women, not to see the men as, competition. But then how would you interpret the theme for this year's International Women's Day, which is to invest in women as well as accelerate progress?
Actually, the world is full of many crises, and ranging from geographical conflicts to social poverty level. I believe we can actually change the narrative by addressing these solutions by empowering women. If we can involve women into a lot of empowerment program, I'm not talking about those stipends you give to women for trades, empower them intellectually, bring them into that circle, you understand, that circle where they can relearn, unlearn, and get all the knowledge they need. Because most times, a lot of our women, they don't have the required knowledge that they need to get to face society itself. So I believe when they are empowered with knowledge, every other thing that comes in, they will be able to utilize it. That's my belief.
Oh. Morenike, Joy just talked about the need to empower women. I'm wondering what you think. Many a times when it comes to empowerment of women, women are often at the forefront. Morenike, what do you think men can do to help achieve equality?
So I think to empower women, we need to work collaboratively, like just Joy have said. It really is important for us to review this thing they say, what do women bring to the table? And it's not just about a tick box exercise. It's about making the woman feel heard. It's about, working actively to make sure that what the woman has suggested, okay, we'll go and think about it. It's about putting women in places where, they can be accountable for their actions, and what they put in place, people are ready to take it on board. not just, oh, let's just put the woman there. No, when she brings a solution, when she brings something, let us all sit down and think, okay, we can work together, collaboratively, for the success of the economy as well.
Let me get a line of thoughts, of Joy. Joy, do you think the society we live in plays a role in stereotyping and also relegating women?
Yes, the society has a major role because I make people understand that the culture of every African woman actually have reduced her to the kitchen, to domestic staff, and to some chores. And I tell you, our culture shouldn't put her back to the ground, because most times we are beyond what our culture speaks about us. The African culture will tell you a woman's duty is not this, is not that. I'll make you understand, like a vice president, a one-time vice president of Sierra Leone said something, that the future of Africa is female. And I see females in Africa coming together some days, collaborating to effect this change that we desire. Because if you involve the women into governance, into the civic space, into any parastatals in Nigeria, I think Nigeria will be a better place. Because the women, we can do it. We can, with one mind, with involvement, with believing in us, not just putting us there just to fulfill our righteousness that women has been given the slot to do it. No, just because they believe in us that we women, we have the potentials. African women have the potentials, and we are breaking the ceiling glass beyond our culture.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. Joy Favor and Morenike Eseku, thank you so much for your time on the news.
Thank you.
Male lawmakers in Nigeria's upper legislative chamber on Thursday celebrated their female counterparts in commemoration of International Women's Day. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said although women representation in the chamber is low, its leadership will promote the rights of women and girls in the country. Senator Mohammed Manguno from Borno State called for the inclusion of women in governance.
Women are underrepresented in decision-making process in this country, and therefore, as legislators, we should think out of the box and take deliberate steps by way of legislative intervention to bring about more women into governance for the purpose of inclusivity. And we can only achieve that by taking deliberate steps, because our society is patriarchal in nature.
We try as much as possible to do the best that we can. But back to your question, I want to believe seriously that a lot is being done by all different organizations, the international communities, even in Nigeria, for us, the NGOs, for us to increase what we have. And I want to believe by the grace of God, we are going to increase that number.
The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, has advocated for a standardized basic salaries system applicable to both public and private sectors. Ajero made the call while presiding over the ongoing Northeast Zonal Public Hearing on National Minimum Wage in Yola. He emphasized the need for comprehensive market hearings across all zones to ensure the effectiveness of wage policies. The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage conducting the public hearings had also recommended the implementation of the Oronsanya report within all tiers of government to streamline governance costs. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, who also participated in the event, highlighted the pressing issue of food security and stressed the importance of motivating workers through awards and timely promotions to boost productivity.
Police from all over the country in all the zones, so that we will do what is called market hearing. If we don't do market hearing, the essence of this public hearing will be defeated. We need to go to the market and ask them how much is a bag of rice, how much is a plate of garri, in that order. So this is a suggestion in addition to public hearing that will do market hearing. And if we balance the two, I think we'll be somewhere. We don't need to be told that there is hardship. It is tangible. You can touch it. You can see it. People are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. We are not talking from the point of view of opposition. We are saying the reality. Mr. President and our chairman, Nigerians are looking up to us as leaders. And leadership is not a joke. It's not deception or delusion.
We all agree as governors and as people at the helm of affairs that God has allowed to lead the Northeast and Nigeria at this time, that the times are difficult. And there is no exception, the times are really, really difficult. And as a government, both at the state and the Northeast and the national level, I think the right thing to do at this time is what we are doing, to get the heartbeat of our people and to bring help and succor. I don't think there's any figure that can be paid to a civil servant that will be convenient or that will be comfortable. But all we can.
The unprecedented economic crisis in Nigeria is forcing more people into poverty line as everything money can buy, like goods and services, continue to rise at an exponential rate with no end in sight. A trio of financial crisis, economic crisis and insecurity is forcing cost of living to surge, threatening the purchasing power of even the middle class. News Central's Adebola has been speaking with Nigerians of different classes and now files in these reports.
Plenary at the Nigerian Senate was briefly disrupted on Tuesday following a power outage that lasted for about 2 hours. This caused lawmakers to fume over the discomfort of the 2-hour power outage. Now, if a disruption in electricity had forced lawmakers to express discomfort, one can only imagine the pains of average Nigerians who are left to bear the brunt of the current power outage that has bedeviled the country.
Like before, I barb some people for 1K, 1.5, but now I increase the barbing to 2,000 naira because of the cost of the fuel. And same thing, the landlords are also increasing their prices, so I also have to adjust with mine also.
Irú èmi yìí gan ṣe èlò mò ń gbà 25,000. A ní kọ́gà wa fi kówó kò fi kówó. Owó yìí ò tó ra ń jẹ débi pé ìkànnà ọmọ tèmi tẹ̀ ti stop school.
We are live at a popular market in Lagos State, Nigeria, and this market used to bring for customers day in, day out. But from what we can see, all indications depict that this market is now unusually empty. And the reason is not far-fetched. Both marketers and customers are saying that the prices of commodities are increasing at a very high rate and it's becoming unaffordable for them.
Tẹ́lẹ̀, ara basket tomato 3,500, 3,000. Nísìnyí ó ti di 30 o. Ẹgbà wá o. Tó ń gbé wá yẹn wọ́n ní owó mọ́tò tán fi ń gbẹ́yọ̀ kan wá ó ti pọ̀ jù. Àbí àwọn tán ń gbé kinní yẹn gan wọ́n ní wọ́n ṣe ń pa wọ́n ti pọ̀ jù. Wọ́n lọ sóko lọ ṣiṣẹ́. Ìwọ̀nba tán dẹ̀ rí àwọn tó ń mu wá wọ́n tún wá fowó lé. So ó ti di ọ̀nà méjì bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
It's been 9 months since the President Tinubu-led administration came into power, but the administration has recorded more economic policies and political reform in just a short period. This has forced the cost of living to shoot up exponentially, with a constant decline in the value of local currency and more people falling below the poverty line.
I've never seen a thing like this before. So bad, there's nothing to see, in fact, nothing to write home about what is going on now. Is it a carton of Indomie that during Gulo Jonathan it was, Super Pack was 1,850 and now it's 18,000. How do you stock?
One of the most popular feedback that Nigerians have gotten from the government, particularly the presidency, is a call for calm. But the big question is, how long does the economic hardship get before a bitter retreat? In Lagos for News Central, Adebola.
All is now set for the government of Plateau State to begin to cushion the effect of the high cost of living for residents of the state. News Central's Chizoba Anyawin Jones now completes this report.
Activities have begun for the government of Plateau State to begin to feel the pulse of the people following the increase in the prices of goods and services, not just within the state, but throughout Nigeria. Recently, Nigerians have faced a very high cost of living, which many say resulted from the removal of the subsidy on petroleum products by President Bola Tinubu on assumption of office in May last year. Starting with the transportation sector, the governor said this intervention to operate within the Jos metropolis is to ensure the people of Plateau State are not left alone in their suffering.
Here is a digitized transport system that is safe, affordable, and very reliable. We have a good customer care system where you can give us feedbacks in case you're having any issues with our bus services. So we have already the card readers installed, and this week the adverts will come out on the routes that we're taking, and also I have a sample of the cards. So this is how the cards look like. And we already have 20,000 of this ready that you can pre-order, and you can get it via home delivery, or you can also pick up at authorized vendor locations. So these are the buses, and we just brought you here to show you that we're ready, but there are things that need to be put in place.
Earlier, the secretary to the state government was at the bus terminal to speak with stakeholders.
We want to alleviate that as a palliative, and so we need quickly to start that. But we have a few issues which we need to sort out, one of which is why we're here today, because you can see how congested the terminus area is. So we need to clear out, because these buses are huge and our roads in some cases are a bit narrow. So we need to be able to get for them turning circumference, parking spaces, and so on and so forth. That's why we're here, to see how we can partner with the traders to relocate them down here where we're standing from where we moved, so that they can also be comfortable doing their business as a temporary measure, because this is not where, this is a construction site, mind you, and so this is going to be a temporary measure.
Whether or not the traders around these terminal areas would support this move by relocating their wares to their located shops, only time will tell. In Jos for News Central, I am Chizoba Anyowe.
Senegal's National Electoral Commission has assured citizens that preparations for the 24th March presidential election are on track despite previous delays. The assurance comes amidst concerns raised about the Commission's readiness to conduct the polls despite the excitement of the country following the announcement of the election date. This development comes after weeks of political turmoil and protests backed by attempts to postpone the original 25th February election to December. With the election now set to take place before President Macky Sall's mandate expires on 2nd of April, the move brings an end to the crisis that has divided the West African country. Ghana's main opposition presidential candidate, John Mahama, has named a female former minister and academic arts vice presidential running mate for December's election. It is the second time Mahama has chosen Jane Opuko as running mate in the conservative West African country, where women are sharply underrepresented in politics. The December election is shaping up to be a tight race between President Nana Akufo-Addo's New Patriotic Party and Mahama's opposition National Democratic Congress. Akufo-Addo steps down after 2 terms, with Ghana emerging from its worst economic crisis in decades and the country in a $3 billion IMF loan program. The Democratic Republic of Congo has refuted claims that the country has entered into a military cooperation against in agreement with Russia. The denial by the Ministry of Communication and Media comes in response to an article published by the Russian state-owned news agency TASS. It reported that Russia's government had approved a draft military cooperation agreement with DR Congo. TASS cited a government document stating that the agreement included joint drills, military training, and visits by warship and warplanes. However, the Congolese government clarified that while a draft agreement was initiated in 1999, it has not been signed into date. The Ministry of Communication and Media emphasized that there are currently no bilateral discussions between the two parties for the implementation of these draft agreements. South African authorities have charged the mother of a missing 6-year-old with trafficking and kidnapping after her daughter disappeared in a case that has gripped the nation. Jolene Rechin-Smith went missing in Saldanha Bay, a fishing town 135 kilometers north of Cape Town in February, sparking a massive search operation. Police arrested the girl's mother and her partner the day before they appeared before a magistrate's court on Thursday, along with 2 other suspects. Police and an army of volunteers have for weeks combed the Saldana Bay area for the missing child. An envoy for French President Emmanuel Macron says France's troops will remain in Chad as it retreats elsewhere in Africa following crisis with other military regimes. French influence in its former West African colonies has waned as military rulers battling terrorists in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger expelled its troops and strengthened ties with Russia. Around 1,000 French troops are stationed in Chad, one of a dwindling number of French allies in the region and ruled by General Mahamat Idriss Déby Itno since 2021. Macron has requested talks with Chadian authorities on an evolution of France's military deployments to better adapt it to regional security and military challenges. President Joe Biden has delivered a fiery State of the Union address, taking direct aim at his election rival, Donald Trump. Biden did not hold back his critique of Trump, labeling him as dangerous and launching into a blistering attack from the very start of his speech. Biden accused Trump of bowing down to Russian President Vladimir Putin and criticized him on a range of issues, including abortion and the economy. He warned that freedom and democracy are under threat, both at home and abroad, drawing a historical parallel to the President Lincoln and the Civil War. Industry leaders within the Africa's tech space have called for a collective effort in digitally transforming the continent's business ecosystem. The expression of intent was at the National Information Technology Development Agency Co-Create West Africa Tech Exhibition. This two-day event saw key players in the technology sector aiming to showcase innovations, foster collaboration, and drive digital transformation across Nigeria, by a large extension, West Africa. Lekon Onobanjo has more.
West Africa is set to experience a surge of technological change, and Nigeria is championing that conversation. The National Information Technology Development Agency Co-Create West Africa Tech Exhibition brought together leading industry players in government, technology, media and other spheres with a shared goal of building a better economic future through technology.
Nigeria's tech industry has witnessed remarkable growth and innovation in recent years, from fintech to e-commerce, from mobile applications to cybersecurity. Nigerian entrepreneurs and innovators are making waves both domestically and internationally.
Highlighting the theme of the event, Evolve, NITDA's Director General Kashifwe Noah Abdullahi stressed the potential of co-creating and co-designing technologies with government-enabled strategies to elevate Nigeria's standing in the global tech sphere.
We strongly believe that the best solutions emerge from collaborative effort, harnessing the diverse talents, perspectives, and experiences of our vibrant ecosystem.
Amidst challenges, the need to create an enabling environment and develop solutions to scale up technological innovation was also emphasized.
Regulatory challenges. This requires collaboration and coordination across government agencies, industry stakeholders, and the broader ecosystem. The nation must invest in digital infrastructure, including broadband expansion and digital literacy programs, to bridge the digital divide and unlock the full potentials of our population.
So technology always changes, and for you to create and capture value from it, you need to position yourself. So we call it a co-creation, so that the government, the academia, the industry, and the entrepreneurs can come together to co-create ideas, initiatives that can position Nigeria as a leader when it comes to digital economy.
By fostering collaboration, innovation and open discussions on critical issues, this tech forum promises to catalyze Nigeria and West Africa into advancement in global tech-based businesses. In Lagos for News Central, Lekon Onobanjo.
And now to sports stories. Red Bull's Max Verstappen set the pace in the first practice at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix ahead of Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso. Verstappen, dominant winner of the first race in Bahrain last weekend, was 0.186 seconds ahead of Alonso. Verstappen's teammate Sergio Perez was third fastest, while former world champion Lewis Hamilton was down in 8th place. The session was held in daylight, while qualifying on the race are after dark, a day earlier than usual on Friday and Saturday, to ensure the race weekend is over before the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The Jeddah Street Circuit is the second longest track on the calendar after Belgium's Spa-Francorchamps. And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Kaduna governor promises to rescue all 280 abducted pupils. Nigerian government inaugurates implementation committee for Oronsaye report. Senegal's electoral umpire assures of readiness for upcoming polls. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba.